Close enough. So to dismantle the valves, I've been taking the bolts here and here, and outside. These bolts hold the rocker shaft in. Also undo that Allen key and remove that stud, and I can tap the rocker shaft back out. So these are the exhaust valves from cylinder 3 and 4. As you can see, as I saw in the other video, there's quite a bit not sitting quite flat. A bit of a wobble on it when you turn them. That's what's causing to be able to see the light coming through in the previous episode. As you saw, to get them out, I made this special tool. In the Citroen manual it has something sort of similar, but I was welded that together just to, since I'll be taking them all out, it's going to be a bit faster. I've got some spare cylinder heads off a previous motor which had a hole on one of the pistons, so I'm going to take those out from that spare head and replace them if they're fine. The new piston rings turned up today. So what I'm currently doing is taking the pistons off the conrod, so that I can, to be able to put the rings on, I need to have the piston out, so I can then put it on the barrel, put the rings on the piston, and then the rings need to be compressed and slid into the barrel, and then I'll slide the piston out so I can connect it back to the conrod without losing, while keeping the rings in the barrel. Otherwise there's no way to get the rings back in the barrel. There's a small clip inside here which holds the gudgeon pin in, and the gudgeon pin, this part here, is what connects it to the conrod here. So I have to clip that little clip out, and I can tap the gudgeon pin out and remove the piston. That's the clip there. So there's the gudgeon pin, and there's the piston. I'm going to mark this piston number 4, because that's just the numbering system I'm using from the driver's side, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think the proper firing order is a little bit different, but it doesn't really matter as long as I use the same numbering system right through. I've also managed to find a place online which sells 7mm bolts, so I can replace some of the old broken bolts. These are quite hard to find because 7mm is a bit of an odd size. You either have normally 6 or 8. I'm not quite sure why Citroen decided to go for 7mm. Maybe they thought it was going to take off in the 70s, but it obviously hasn't, so they're quite difficult to find. But the new engine rings I've ordered aren't actually going to work. They're a bit too small. If you can see in here, there's quite a reasonable gap, which measures to about 1.7mm, whereas the ring gap should be about 0.1 to 0.3. That's to help keep the combustion chamber closed for when it's operating, to keep the little explosion inside the cylinder. When you compare it to this is the old ring here, the gap's probably still a little bit too big maybe, but it's a lot better than the new ones. So I'm probably just going to put the old rings back in it for now, and I am trying to get some new ones that will fit properly. But for now I'm just going to have to use the old rings and put it together. Because we're still in lockdown, it's a bit hard to get some parts really, so I've got to make do with what I have. So I spent quite a bit of time getting everything nice and clean. I've gotten all the carbon off the top of the pistons and put them through the ultrasound, clean them a couple of times, get everything spotless clean. I've also cleaned up this edge here. It's quite an important edge where the barrel connects with the cylinder head, and a little bit at the bottom here, but this one here is quite important because light rings is what keeps the combustion sealed and helps. You don't really want that leaking at all. I've got old rings ready to put back on, although ideally I will try to source new ones, but if they don't arrive before anytime soon, I'm going to stick with old ones. The head still needs a little bit more cleaning, but I also need to get the spare valves on my spare head, which aren't bent, to replace the two bent ones, and then next I'm going to be able to give it a valve grind, and then I'll be able to start reassembling the heads. Got the camshafts all cleaned up now. I'll put everything back together and start the reassembly process. So I've given all the valves a grind now in the second head, so you can see like a continuous matted colour on the inside of the valve seats. It just means that they've been like lapped in and they'll seal properly now. And you can also see same kind of matted colour on the valves. This was my grandfather's tool he had since the 1950s, when he fixed the valves in his Daimler Conquest, which my uncle now has. I've now got both cylinder heads all back together now, so they're all pretty much ready to go back in the car. They still need a few little jobs done to them, but now I'm going to move on to putting the rings back onto the pistons and compressing the rings back into the cylinders so that they're all ready so I can be reassembled. So I now have the barrels and pistons back in, with the same old rings in it, but I can't really do too much about that at the moment. The next thing stopping me from putting it back the heads back on are these O-rings here. I need to try to find some replacement ones, but everything's closed at the moment. Apparently there's quite a big place for these to leak. As the oil comes through the head, this one's upside down at the moment, but it comes down to here and flows down this tube back into the sump, and so I want to get new O-rings in here because I think it's quite a common place these leak. So that's what I'm stuck with now, so I'm going to try to find source them. But for now that's about it really. I can't really do too much more. I'm just going to keep cleaning other parts for now.